They said the laws of physics were eternal, unbreakable, sacred, absolute. They built empires on equations written in dying stars. They enforced obedience with constants carved into the fabric of reality itself. And when they looked at Earth, they saw a species shackled by gravity. What they didn't see was that we had already begun rewriting the universe. When the alien conclave arrived in orbit, they didn't fire weapons. They didn't threaten. They simply transmitted a message. Your species operates within primitive parameters. You are confined by universal constants. You will remain confined. They called themselves the architects of continuity. For millions of years, they had worshipped the sacred framework first defined by their equivalent of Isaac Newton and later perfected by minds like Albert Einstein. Gravity was fixed. Light speed was absolute. Energy could not be created or destroyed. These were not merely principles. They were doctrine. Civilizations rose by obeying them. Civilizations fell when they dared to question them. And Earth was insignificant, or so they believed. For centuries, humanity worshipped those same equations. We built our understanding of reality around them. We revered the elegance of relativity, the precision of quantum mechanics, the brutal honesty of thermodynamics. But unlike the architects, we never stopped questioning. Our physicists began noticing anomalies, subtle irregularities in quantum vacuum fluctuations, tiny inconsistencies in cosmic background radiation, microscopic violations of energy symmetry that shouldn't exist. At first, they were dismissed as measurement errors. Then came the breakthrough. At CERN, beneath the border of France and Switzerland, researchers working beyond the successor of the CERN collider observed something impossible. A particle that retained mass while exceeding light speed. Not by much, but enough. The data was checked, rechecked, attacked by the world's greatest skeptics. It held. The universal speed limit, once thought inviolable, had just cracked. And somewhere beyond the stars, the architects noticed. Their second transmission was colder. You are destabilizing the substrate. Cease experimentation immediately. The laws are fixed for survival. To them, physics wasn't just science. It was containment. The constants, gravity, entropy, light speed, were stabilizers in a volatile cosmos. They had discovered long ago that altering them could unravel entire star systems. So they enforced compliance. Across galaxies, entire civilizations were erased for attempting what we had just achieved accidentally. But humanity has never been particularly obedient. We are reckless, audacious, insatiably curious. And now we had proof that the sacred laws were flexible. The global response wasn't surrender, it was acceleration. The United Nations dissolved its rivalries overnight. Former enemies united under a singular initiative, Project Prometheus. If the constants were adjustable, then reality was programmable. We built quantum lattice engines designed to manipulate vacuum energy density. Instead of treating spacetime as a passive stage, we treated it as editable code. The architects transmitted again. You will collapse your star. They were wrong, or perhaps they were afraid, because when we altered the gravitational constant inside a controlled micro field for 0.04 seconds, we created negative mass. The impossible became measurable. And the universe did not collapse. It adapted. The architects did not deploy fleets. They deployed corrections. Localized reality stabilizers appeared near Earth, massive geometric constructs that emitted harmonic fields restoring constants to default values. Our experiments began failing. Our manipulated fields snapped back to baseline. They weren't attacking. They were resetting. To them, we were malware. So we did something unprecedented. We altered entropy. Inside a sealed laboratory chamber, we reversed thermodynamic flow for 3.2 seconds. Heat flowed cold. Chaos ordered itself. A shattered glass reassembled. For 3 seconds, time itself hesitated. Across interstellar distances, architect sensors screamed, because entropy is not just a rule. It is the arrow of existence, and we had just bent it backward. Intercepted architect data revealed a truth that shattered everything. The laws of physics were not universal. They were imposed. Long ago, their civilization discovered the cosmos in chaos. Variable constants, unstable forces, stars igniting unpredictably. They engineered stabilization fields across vast regions of space, locking constants into safe ranges. They didn't discover physics. They standardized it. Their empire wasn't built on conquest. It was built on control, and we had evolved outside their controlled sectors. Earth existed in a statistical anomaly, an unregulated pocket where constants fluctuated microscopically over billions of years. Our evolution had adapted to flexibility. We were not breaking physics. We were returning it to its natural state. The final transmission from the architects carried something new. Not authority, not warning, fear. If constants are released, unpredictability returns, civilizations collapse, stars die. Humanity's answer was simple. Or they are reborn. We deployed a planetary lattice network. Thousands of satellites forming a synchronized resonance grid. Instead of erasing constants entirely, we introduced controlled variability. Light speed shifted by fractional percentages. Gravitational strength fluctuated within tolerances. Entropy gradients softened, and something extraordinary happened. Energy efficiency skyrocketed. Interstellar travel became possible, not by exceeding light speed, but by reshaping space-time elasticity. Fusion reactors achieved net, positive yields beyond theoretical limits. Disease mechanisms destabilized at molecular levels. The rigid prison of physical limitation had been a ceiling. We shattered it. For the first time in their history, the architects entered orbit physically. Their vessels were vast, fractal geometries glowing with stabilized space-time fields. They expected chaos. They expected planetary collapse. Instead, they saw a world thriving. Cities powered by vacuum fluctuations. Starships bending gravity wells like silk. A species not unraveling reality, but composing it. Their leader addressed humanity directly. Not as primitives, not as violators, but as equals. You have achieved dynamic equilibrium. We chose stability. You chose evolution. In private exchange, their elder scientist revealed the final secret. Their civilization once experimented as we had, but a catastrophic cascade, an uncontrolled constant shift, had annihilated thousands of systems. Traumatized, they locked reality into rigidity. Safety over possibility, control over growth. They had mistaken fear for wisdom. Humanity's advantage wasn't intelligence. It was resilience. We fall, we adapt, we try again. They feared instability. We were born from it. Together, humanity and the architects initiated the Great Release. Not chaos. Not anarchy, but adaptive physics, constants responsive to conscious calibration. Entire galaxies began transitioning from static frameworks to dynamic fields. New star formation patterns emerged. Propulsion systems evolved overnight. Civilizations once constrained by rigid light barriers stepped into a fluid cosmos. The universe was no longer a prison of fixed laws. It was an instrument, and sentient life was learning to play it. They trusted ancient laws of physics. We questioned them. They enforced constants. We explored variables. They stabilized reality. We reimagined it. In the end, it wasn't rebellion that saved the universe. It was courage. The courage to test limits, to endure failure, to reshape destiny itself. Because physics was never meant to be a cage. It was always meant to be a conversation. and humanity spoke back. If this story ignited your imagination, if you believe humanity's greatest power is curiosity, if you're ready for more epic sci-fi that bends reality and shatters limits, like this video. Comment, "We reshape reality." Who subscribe for more mind-bending stories that challenge the universe itself. Because the next law we question might be the one that sets us free.